Want to know how to win your fantasy league? Get Colorado's Troy Tulowitzki and Carlos Gonzalez on your roster. That's how. Tulo went 5 for 5 and Cargo hit 3 home runs Wednesday. Combined, they went 8 for 10 with 6 RBI and 6 runs scored. That's how you win your fantasy league. Mets starter Dylan G is certainly turning out to be an interesting species. In his last start, he went 7 1/3, giving up just 1 run and 4 hits with no walks, striking out 12. He's now followed that up with a 7-inning, 1-run, 7 strikeout performance. Only owned in 21% of leagues and starting in half of that, he may have figured something out. Perhaps he's worth a look. Who needs Mike Trout or Albert Pujols when you can have Mark Trumbo? 2 home runs on the night gives him 15 on the season with 40 RBI. At a fraction of the price of his teammates, he's a great deal. Gordon Beckham was recently activated from the DL and has 5 hits in his last 2 games. He had a great night going 4 for 7 with a double, 2 stolen bases and a run. Don't get suckered in. Jose Bautista stole 2 bases last night and now has 5 on the year, equaling last year's total. I know he's in a 2 for 26 slump right now, but that will take care of itself. If he's going to steal 15 bases on the season, make sure he's on your team in the second half. And finally, I guess this will just have to become a regular part of the daily broadcast. Dominic Brown hit another moon rocket last night, giving him 11 home runs and 24 RBI in his last 16 games. This is bordering on silly now. I'm not certain I've ever seen anyone this hot for this long. Mitch Moreland has been a popular ad the past few weeks, but he injured a hamstring in Boston and is flying back to Arlington today for an MRI. Don't they have MRIs in Boston? Jacoby Ellsbury has now missed 5 straight games with tightness in his groin, but he won't need a trip to the DL. He's been taking batting practice and increasing his running, and hopes to be back this weekend. Brett Laurie has been out for a week with a high ankle sprain, but hasn't shown any improvement. It's still swollen and painful. Laurie is not expected to be ready when eligible to come off the DL, and is going to be out for a while, so if you're planning on his return in another week, you need to make contingency plans. It looks safe to get Alexi Ogando back into your lineup. Returning from biceps tendonitis, he threw 90 pitches in his return, 55 for strikes, giving up just 1 run over 5 2/3. Jake Peavy's non-displaced rib fracture in his left side will keep him out 4 to 6 weeks. A bad break for Peavy owners. No pun intended. Cindy in San Diego, California writes, Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers lost to Jason Marquis and the Padres tonight. Marquis is now 7-2 and Kershaw is just 5-4. I want to trade Kershaw to get Marquis, but my girlfriend is totally against doing the trade. Why wouldn't I do that? Oh boy. All right, I guess this is what happens when you do a show for the masses. Cindy, this is a great question, and it's a first on so many levels I can't begin to tell you. It's true that Marquis currently has both more wins and a better winning percentage than Kershaw, and wins are one of the categories that get you points in fantasy. But wins are not always something that can be predicted. Kershaw leads the National League in innings pitched, he's 2nd in ERA, he's tied for 2nd in strikeouts, and he's 5th in WHIP. But he has just 5 wins in 13 starts, basically due to a combination of bad luck and lack of run support. Marquis, on the other hand, is a journeyman pitcher who's on the Padres to eat up innings and try to keep them in the games. He's been doing a decent job of that, and with some luck and run support, he's been able to accumulate 7 wins. However, his other pitching metrics are not and won't be nearly as good as Kershaw's. In summary, Clayton Kershaw is one of the very best pitchers in baseball, fantasy or otherwise, and your girlfriend is correct. You do not want to do that trade. A lot of Salvador Perez owners have been emailing me recently wanting to know what to do with him because they've been disappointed in his power production. Only 1 home run and 16 RBIs is a concern, I must admit. But he's hitting .312, and I have to believe that as the summer heats up, so will he. They've had a lot of bad weather in Kansas City to start the season, and he's playing the most physically demanding position in the game. I think the power numbers will come. One thing I'd like to point out, however, is that if you were expecting the power production of someone like Mike Napoli or Willen Rosario, he's just not that type of hitter, and you need to temper your expectations there. For RotoExperts, I'm Mike Cardano.